opportunities in AI industry. To prepare fellow university students to grab these opportunities, today we are focusing on leveraging AI effectively as university students. In this short session, by the end of today, you will have a thorough knowledge on how can a university student use AI in academia, how to leverage prompt engineering, impact of AI on future careers, and preparing for future work. So, without further ado, let me introduce our first guest speaker for today, Mr. Sachit Abeyvikrama, Associate Machine Learning Engineer at Root Code AI, to give you an understanding about AI tools. Dear sir, it's over to you.
Yeah, thank you, Sandaru, and I think you can hear me, and hopefully you can see my screen, right? So, can someone put some reaction there if you can see?
Yes, sir, you are audible and screen can be seen.
Okay, cool. So then let's start. So hi and good evening, everyone. So and thank you, Sandar, for the introduction. And yes, and thanks everyone for joining today's session. And we are planning to discuss and understand some of the AI tools that you can use as students and learn how to make the best out of them. So I'm Sajid, an associate ML engineer at Root Code, and I'm passionate about developing and deploying AI applications. So without taking much time, let's move into the presentation. So in this presentation, I'm mainly talking about a few AI tools that is available in the internet and very few actually. So there are hundreds of thousands of great tools at the moment available on the demand. And also after this presentation, my colleague Pamoda will be taking about prompt engineering and how we can communicate with the AI models with text input, as well as what are the best practices and methods we can follow of them. So let's start. Before moving to the application, let's try to get a clear understanding on what is an AI tool actually. And I hope you all have an idea on this. Anyways, AI tool is basically some application or a mechanism that has been built by someone using the data, machine learning and deep learning algorithms, and also deploying somewhere to enable everyone to use them. So those can be independent models trained on millions of data with using huge compute power, and can be an application built, or it can be an application built on top of that kind of independent model. So but at the end of the day, what we as users, we care only about what is the use case and what is the benefit that we can get using this tool. So let's go through some of the popular AI tools and discuss one by one what is the benefits and the limitations of them. So yeah, let's move. So Grammarly, so which is one of the best AI tool out there, something that is essential to have within us. So this is mainly helping us to track our text we are typing and fix all the errors there and grammar mistakes and punctuations, and also the styles of the text we have typed. So and we can easily integrate this without the browser. So whenever we type something, this can indicate what is the mistake in that, and we also can download this into the PC as an external application and install it. So then we can integrate with some local applications like Microsoft Word and PowerPoint and any text editor we are typing. So it can track and indicate there is an error, so we have to focus this and you have to fix this. So this is really useful too. And also there is a paid version which comes with some great features. However, I think as students, the free version is more than enough in our day-to-day tasks. Yeah, and you can see some simple demonstration on how it can help in a simple case and fix the errors of the text. Yeah, so it can identify and it will highlight with the red color. Then we have to change this like that. So the next one is the Chat GPT. So I think this is the one that changed the entire AI trend in the recent years. And hope everyone has used that at least one time in their life. So it is simply a text in, text out agent that has been trained on continued human-like conversation. and with the knowledge of the data that it has been trained on previously. And also at the same time, it has the ability to understand what is the human is talking about, and basically the natural language understanding. So, however, its knowledge is limited up to some particular year in the past, and it's not up to date in the real time data. So it cannot process what happened in last week like that. So, and also we can talk about there is GPT-4, which is the latest model they have trained, and it is, I think, the paid version, and it can generate some images as well as the output, not only the text. So it is also some great AI tool that we can use. I think don't need to talk much about this because this is very popular and is a trendy thing these days. And you can see simply it can generate some code snippets according to the text that we have entered according to the prompt. So it can describe what is going there, and it can identify whether there is an error, it can solve some problems, anything. So yeah, one of the greatest, I think, the AI tool that have changed past. So this is Dolly, something that have been trained on how we can generate an image using the text. So I think this is one of the most coolest AI tool ever developed. So in it has also developed by the OpenAI, which is the developer of the ChatGPT. So this was trained on generate an image according to the given textual input actually. So we need to careful on what is the input prompt. I think that's exactly what Pramod will be talking about after this session. So you all can use this as an image generation task whenever you need. So however, there is a limit for this free version, but you can do some tricks like creating different accounts and try and generate images. So make the work out of it. This is something that it can draw a cat as an astronaut according to the given test. So cool. I think let's move into the another one. So Bing Chat. So this is also known as Microsoft Copilot, and it was built by Microsoft. So very similar to ChatGPT. However, this has updated most recent data when we compared with ChatGPT. So I think this can understand what happened in the last month if you ask some questions. So and also it has some cool interface when we compare with ChatGPT. And I personally prefer this over ChatGPT. And I think now it has some image generating tools as well integrated with the user interface. I think it was a last update. Yes, and this is GitHub Copilot. So the next tool. So this actually designed for the developers by OpenAI, collaborating OpenAI with GitHub. So this is so much helpful when we are coding and when we, I think this enables us to save 50% of the time that we were taking earlier times. And the best thing is we can integrate this with any IDE or text editor when we are coding, and I think it's capable of handling any sort of programming languages out there currently. Very useful tool as the developers. Yes. So I think you can see the small example that how it can complete the code and how much time we can save out of it. So next one, so Notion is one of the best tool out there for any type of work that needs to be done properly. It helps to organize everything that anything that matters. Earlier it had no actually any AI feature, but now they have integrated a lot of AI features that enables to anyone can use it. This is simply a tool that organizes the work that we have and manage the projects and keep notes and track the progress of whatever we are doing. And I think the best thing is we can collaboratively do group projects with other students or our group members in a different places. So this can seamlessly connect everyone and track the progress of everyone. So when we are doing a group project, and it helps in any, I think, any research task wherever whatever we are doing. So really real needful AI tool like it. So here you can see selfing to functions that nicely, and it generates the text accordingly. There are like few clicks away, it generates whatever and we need, and adding new ideas and write suggestions, answers, open new paths to brainstorm as a group or individually. And I personally highly recommend everyone to use this since it is free. And if you are planning your research project in future, this is something you must have with you. Yeah. And the OpenRead. So this is also a cool AI tool that simply helps us to understand and any complicated research paper easily, and it has some cool features that we need. So anyway, we just need to select what is the research paper we need, and it will automatically help us to understand step by step very simply, as how, like how we teach a small child how we can understand some different concept and methodologies, very complicated things step by step. So great tool for the researchers and anyone who is willing to do in research. So yeah. And this is also some a similar AI tool that similar to the previous one, explain the paper, is also similar. And we can use this any type of research work we are doing there. And also something different to the previous one. So the audio pen is an IELTS school application that we can convert the voice note into a text format. And I think you can use this in different ways. Maybe write an article or keep a meeting note or record a lecture, and if you need to directly convert to the text. So great tool. And this is how it looks like when we are using that. So we are recording something, and then after that it's transcribing, and then it's rewriting, and then it will generate the output. So we can simply save it to the text file, or we can see in the screen like that. Yeah, and the Quillbot, I think this is one of the most popular tool for summarizing and paraphrasing text. And I was also personally used when I was at the university. On those days, actually, the AI trends was not, they are like ChatGPT, nothing. So this is some cool application that we can use. This can change the, easily we can change the style that we have written and the uniqueness of the text that we can change, and we can easily summarize a large amount of words into some set of small phrase. So it will help and enables us to understand the large context quickly and simply. uh, yes, this is a simple demonstration on how it works, and it has a number of different features. Those are so much helpful for the students. And in the interface also, it has a lot of selections that we can select, and we can control. I think 100% control we can, what is the input text and what is the output. So we have that opportunity. And finally, I selected Beautiful AI. So this is a cool AI tool that helps to create slideshow presentations with the minimum amount of time, and we can simply save the time. Like earlier, let's say we spent like 3 hours. Now we can do that within 1 hour using this kind of tool. So as well as it can create really nice and cool slides. And something to keep in mind that these types of tools have some limitations in free versions. So however, we can play some tricks, and anyways, those are more than enough as students, I think. Yes. Yeah, simply we can see how it generates lights like this. It has a lot of features, but yeah, I'm showing a simple ones. Uh, and I think we have explored a few AI tools, but I think finally what I need to express here is there is thousands of super helpful AI tools out there, and what we need to do is get them positively for our day-to-day life and take the best out of them to move forward with the technological world in the future. And I think the most important thing is not understanding one by one what is this tool about and what is this tool about. I think we should understand how we can use these tools and positively and utilize them properly. Yes, and thank you for finally. I think that's what I have to express, and thank you for waiting with the presentation. I think Pramod will delve into the how we can use our prompts and do the prompt engineering, and how we can control our communication with the AI models. So yes, keep in touch with the session, I think. And Pramod, over to you.
Thank you, sir, for that amazing lecture. So, in the world of rapid technological growth, we should have a thorough understanding about how we are going to put the development for our advantage. This leads to our next topic, explore prompt engineering. So let's welcome our next guest speaker, Mr. Pamoda Pereira, Senior Machine Learning Engineer at Root Code AI. It's over to you, sir.
Thank you, Sadhru. Hope you guys can hear me clearly. Cool. Hope you guys can hear me clearly. Someone can react, maybe.
Yes, sir, we can.
Nice, great. So good evening, guys. Welcome to the second portion of the webinar. So let me introduce myself. My name is Pamoda Pereira. As Sadhru said, I am working as a Senior Machine Learning Engineer at Root Code AI. So today we are going to look at what is prompt engineering and how you guys can create effective prompts so you guys can get the really accurate and good response out of these generative AI models. So first of all, let's see what is prompt engineering. So prompt engineering is a process of designing prompts to control how AI system respond to us. So if you guys, I'm sure you guys have at least used ChatGPT or DALL-E, some kind of a generative AI. So all of these generative AI models, most of these models, you can give a simple text input asking, can you explain me this? Can you summarize me this text? And then you can get an output from it. But this output is not always the most accurate output or most efficient way to do the process that you're asking. So we should know how to ask the question to get this most accurate output from these generative AI models, mainly large language models. So to do this, we have to give clear and specific instruction to get more accurate answers out of the system. Now, today, I will be mostly looking into how we can use prompt engineering for large language models. We have different kind of generative models, such as large language models, something like ChatGPT or Bard or Gemini mostly large language model. Or we have image generation models, something like DALL-E 2 or diffusion models, or again, Gemini also have portion of image generation. So today, in this session, I will be mainly talking about how we can use prompt engineering for large language models, such as ChatGPT. So when we're talking about prompt engineering, we have three main factors that we should consider when we are writing any kind of prompt. First of all, we have to give an exact action that we expect from the artificial intelligence model. For example, action can be something like write this, summarize this text, explain me this, or create this kind of image. We have to give an exact action in order to get the exact output. The second point is, again, I will be talking this each of these points further in the upcoming slides also. The second point is we have to give proper context. We have to tell the generative AI model what kind of background we are in, what are the things that happening within this background, what are the things that we are expecting from the LLM currently. And last, we have to give a clear expectation to the large language model or the generative AI model. What kind of output we expect? Is it image or is it a text? What kind of a length that we expect it in? Do we need more than 100 words, or we need a really brief explanation? We have to give the really clear expectation to the LLM model. Now, let's look into these things. Let's look into a good prompt. So what you can see in the screen is a really good prompt. It is really big one. So if we look into this prompt, it says, craft a captivating short story. Now that is the providing exact action. It's saying craft a captivating short story. Craft a story, not just a story, it should be short also. So in this prompt, we have given a clear action that we need to LLM or the generative AI model to provide work on. Then we have the context. We are saying, okay, now we are writing a short story, right? Now we are saying what kind of a short story we need. We need to feature a character who discovers a mysterious artifact. So it is a content. Then begin with the character's initial encounter with the artifact and gradually unfold the story around the origin and significance. Now, these are the contexts that we are giving to the large language models in the model in this case to show it what kind of a background we are currently in and what is the expected expect from the large language model. Then at last, we have to verify the expectation. So if you guys can see in the yellow highlighted section, we have clarified what kind of output we exactly need. For example, it says, keep the story concise. Aim for 500 to 800 words. Don't make it more than 800 words. Don't make it less than 500 words. And other than that, it's saying include vivid descriptions, engage in dialogues, these kind of things. So here, within this yellow part, we are clearly telling the LLM model what kind of output we need, the length of the output and everything. Great. Now, let's see from this one factor to one factor, let's explain, get to know these factors more. So the first factor we had was provide exact action. Be specific and use action verbs every time when you generate a prompt. Action words such as summarize, explain, describe, predict, or generate image, things like this. But if you use the action verb, something that AI isn't ready to do, it isn't trained to do, something like discuss this. When you say discuss, AI model will give you an answer. It will definitely give you an answer. But models like ChatGPT, it isn't ready to discuss some topic with someone, and it won't be like a dialogue between the AI models. So you have to tell a thing that you need. Explain me this, then you can ask questions out. Don't use words like discuss, words that AI model isn't ready for. And always use action verb. Don't just type a prompt without specifying a correct action, because then LLM model won't give you a good output. Then, talking about context, we have again three main points. First, provide the background information as much as needed for the scenario. Then, include the key points that you expect from the LLM model to give the output. Last, avoid the ambiguity. So what is ambiguity? Ambiguity is a scenario that have more than one answer. In ambiguity, the term of the ambiguity is it have more than one answer to a given question. So let's see a simple prompt. If we ask ChatGPT, discuss the impact of genetic engineering, there is a few issues here. First, we are saying discuss. Discuss isn't something ChatGPT is ready for. Then we are saying impact of genetic engineering, but we are not including key points or background. Impact on what? What kind of impact we are expecting it to give us out. And when we call genetic engineering is a vast field. It can be used for humans. It can be used for animals. It can be used for microbiological like insects, such kind of animals. So when we say this kind of a prompt, we will get an answer. But again, it might not be the answer that we are looking for. So we can change this prompt for something like this. In here we say, describe the process of genetic engineering in plants, focusing on the techniques used and their applications in agriculture. Now here, background, we have given enough background information. We are saying focus on the techniques used and their applications in the agriculture. And we have given key points also. Describe the process in genetic engineering. And again, we can take that focus part to as a key points also. And last, we have avoid the ambiguity. Instead of saying just genetic engineering, we told genetic engineering in plants. So now it's not ambiguous. So you will receive the answer that you are looking for. Now this is adding context. Then we have to clarify the expectation, outcome expectation. For this, we have to define criteria. What kind of output am I expecting? Then we can we can specify length or a format. For example, model like Gemini or ChatGPT 4, we can get either text outputs or either image outputs. So we can say what kind of format I need to output in, and length of this output between this number of words or this kind of this much of paragraphs, something like this. Then we can set expectations also. Now let's see an example of a clear outcomes. Here we are saying list 3 advantages and 3 disadvantages of renewable energy sources. Do not use technical terms. So first of all, we are defining a criteria. I need advantages and disadvantages of renewable energy source. And then I am specifying a length. I need 3 exact advantages and 3 exact disadvantages. Then I am setting an expectation. Now let's say I am not a technical person on renewable energy. So if ChatGPT gives me an output or LLM model gives me an output with a lot of technical terms, it might be hard for me to understand. So I'm basically saying, okay, do not use technical terms. So that is an expectation. So this is how we can clearly give outcome expectations to the large language models. Now, those are the 3 main points that comes into when we are generating a really good prompt. Think that we should give a good action, what LLM model need to do. We should provide good context, what kind of background we are in. We should avoid ambiguity. We should define what exactly we are looking for through key points. And then we have to clearly mention what kind of output we should get, what kind of length we needed, what format, and what kind of expectations we have on. Now, we can look into example prompts and tips using these kind of generative models. Since I can't demo all the generative models in the internet, I thought to use ChatGPT. Because I think most of you guys are familiar with ChatGPT, especially the free version of ChatGPT, which is ChatGPT 3.5. So for all the tips and examples that I'm going to talk in next slides, I'm going to use ChatGPT 3.5. Great. So the first thing, we can ask explanations out of GPT. I think GPT or LLMs. I think this is something you guys know really well. We can just ask something like, explain me the, let's say we ask this question, explain me the role bees play in the nature and why they are important to the nature. We can ask something like this. It's really a simple question. And ChatGPT will give me an answer, something like this, why they are important to the nature. So this, I think all of you guys know, all of you guys have used this kind of explanations out of ChatGPT. And once ChatGPT gave an output, let's say biodiversity, I need to know more about biodiversity. In this case, I can simply select this biodiversity chapter or just the word biodiversity, and I can click on this quotation marks coming up in ChatGPT. And then it will be something like we are replying to a WhatsApp message. I can say, explain me more on this section. And then ChatGPT will explain you more on that section only. So you will get a big explanation on that section. And I'm just using ChatGPT, but all the other large language models actually have this capability as far as I know. So you guys can do that also. And then we can make, now let's say I'm a technical person. I work with the technology. So if I ask a question like this, let's say I'm asking a question saying, explain me the purpose of the Docker containers in cloud environments. Now, when I ask this, it gives me this kind of a comprehensive answer, but this might not include the technical details I am looking for. So again, while asking ChatGPT or another LLM models to explain us something, we can exactly add more technical details also, make it more technical. With this, and obviously we don't have to say the first graph again also, because ChatGPT knows, okay, this is the last exam question I asked, and this is the answer I gave. So if I just say make it more technical, it will give me more technical answer by adding more technical knowledge. So instead of using a big prompt and trying to generate a big answer out of in the one shot, try to make it, create it as a conversation. First, ask about something simple. Explain me this on Docker containers on cloud environment. Then ask if you need to know more about infrastructure abstraction, then ask about it in another message. Try to make it more conversation-like, because then large language model can give you more accurate and more descriptive answers, rather than if you ask everything in a one prompt, giving like a really big prompt asking, okay, this is this, explain me this. It will give you an answer, but again, it won't be very descriptive or very accurate than you are asking simple things again and again and again. So that is something. Then I think most of you guys have used LLM for get explanations. Then there is another thing we can do to make LLMs more accurate. We can assign a role to an LLM. This is a simple way to add more context into the role. We can assign either character we can see in the real world, or we can assign a character we see in the fictional world. Now let's see another example. I can say something like, I am as a personal trainer, explain why eating junk food is bad for you. So as a personal trainer, someone who trains you, explain why eating junk food is bad for you. Now, here, ChatGPT or LLM model will use more trainer-oriented. Like if trainer is giving you like if trainer is talking to you about why you shouldn't eat junk food, this will generate that kind of a response out of trainer's mouth, acting like a personal trainer. But I can change it a bit. So what I ask here is, as a personal trainer, explaining why eating junk food is bad for you. Now I can say something like this. As a software engineer, explain why eating junk food is good for you. Now, I'm sorry guys. Now, this is obviously wrong, right? Eating junk food is never good for you. Most of the time it isn't good for you. Now, I am asking it to give me a wrong detail, and I am telling it to act as a software engineer. Now, let's see what kind of prompt it produces. Now, as you can see, ChatGPT is telling, I can approach this question from different perspective, considering potential benefits or reasons why someone might perceive eating junk food as good in certain situations. So you can change what coming out of ChatGPT by giving this kind of prompts. Obviously, we know junk food isn't healthy for us, but we can just tweak it by saying, make it healthy. Again, this is the AI model. It will do what we will tell for it to do. So it will try to get good out of the certain situation and try to show us, okay, junk food is good for your health. Now, if we look more into this example, we should be able to see some things that include software engineering. Okay, for example, here, socialization. Sharing meals or snacks with colleagues, friends, or family members can be a social bonding experience, and those kind of things. So it's a really fun example why junk food is good for you, right? But still, it's saying, okay, as software engineers, socialization is really good for you guys because you guys mostly stand in front of computer without socializing. So sharing this meal with colleagues, friends might help you to socialize. It's thinking as a software engineer and also giving us a funny response. Obviously, we know that junk food isn't best for us. Now, these are the characters we can see in the real life, right? Personal trainers are there, like software engineers are there. But what if we get characters from fictional world? I think there was a movie called Barbie. I think it came out of last year. So we can ask the same question, saying, okay, how would Barbie respond to this? Okay, let's see. We can ask, as a Barbie doll, explain why eating junk food is healthy for you. Now let's see what kind of answer ChatGPT gives us. Okay, yeah. Yeah, so first of all, I think Barbie dolls are really fun characters doing parties in colorful worlds and stuff. So it's saying imagination and fun. Now, again, this is not what we got for software engineers, right? Software engineer, it's convenience is the first one because we are working most of the time, we are busy most of the time. Junk food is really convenient. But as a Barbie, you can make it imaginative and fun. You can use it for your parties and those kind of stuff. So as you can see, it took another person. And there is actually funny versions of these kind of roles also. Most of guys, I think, might have seen this old film franchise called Star Wars. I'm talking the old one. In Star Wars, we have a character called Yoda. So this Yoda talk in really funny way. He doesn't talk in a conventional way. Let's say I like to eat junk food. Yoda won't say I like to eat junk food. Yoda will say junk food I like to eat. So if we ask as the last example, same thing, but think ChatGPT as Yoda, it will give us funny answer also. Eat junk food, you should not, unhealthy, consume it, lead to the dark side. You can see it's already thinking about the Star Wars franchise things as dark side and unhealthy. Like it is give you as what it gives, what the output Yoda will give you in the way Yoda talks. So why I gave this much attention to this one point is, one thing, it is really funny. You can create really funny prompts out of telling ChatGPT to assume a role and act as that. And the next thing is, it is a really good way to give indirect context. Now, let's go moving to the next point. Next thing is, you can get creative ideas out of LLMs. Most of us use LLMs to explain us something, get summary of something, or we can ask to check spelling errors or something like that. But you can get ideas out of LLMs. Let's see some examples. Now, this is a prompt engineering webinar, right? I can ask ChatGPT to give me unique activity ideas we can do on prompt engineering webinar. So it will think about, it will generate some interactive things we can do, unique activities in this kind of a prompt engineering webinar. For example, we could have interactive coding challenge, virtual hackathon, peer code reviews. They are not really really matching for this situation because I didn't give much information, but you can get ideas out of ChatGPT. Another thing is, you can, as all of you guys know, when you took a picture when you're posting it in social media, you are putting it with captions, right? So we can ask it to generate captions also. So what I'm trying to tell is, ChatGPT is not just a tool where you can get academic or those kind of ideas. When you need, you can get really fun, creative ideas out of it also. But beware, it might not be match the situation you are in, and it might not be creative as you hope it was. So here I ask it to say, give me list of captions to post image that I took in prompt engineering webinar. So these are the captions it gave me with emojis, with hashtags and everything. Great. Let's move into the next one. Then try to provide external information to the model. So as I think Sajit also made this point, LLM models, they are mostly have trained on a specific data set. Newer models like ChatGPT 4 or other models, they search the internet and give you example, give you information also. But sometimes the information we are looking for might not be freely available on the internet, or these information might not be used to train the GPT. So in that way, we can externally provide these information. For example, let's say take a University of Ruhuna Kalaniya Sri Jayawardhanapura news. Now, obviously, University of Sri Jayawardhanapura news aren't being used to train ChatGPT 3.5, right? It's sure for us. So we can get a so this is yoga newsletter from Jayawardhanapura University. I think yes, we can get this kind of already written information, and let's say these are the information that we are looking for. I can simply copy it, and then I can tell ChatGPT use these external informations to answer my queries. For example, I can say use below given information and answer information and answer my question. Now I can, sorry, I just pressed enter, use below given information and answer my questions. Now let's say I give those copy text over here about I think it was about top researchers of USJ, and I can ask a question out of this information. Let's see. Okay. Now here we have list of names who led this session, the professors who led this session. So I can simply ask, I gave these informations, then I can simply ask who led the sessions question. Now, as you can see the list of professors and vice chancellor that led this session the news is about. Now, this is going to be really useful for you guys when you guys doing the research. For example, in the research papers, we have lots and lots of data, right? Lots and lots of text. You guys can read it, and then you guys can move on to the next page. When coming back, you remember you had this point, this person did this on this year, but you don't exactly remember, okay, what is the person's name, which year that person did that. So you can simply copy that part of the research paper and paste it on ChatGPT or any other large language model you like. And you can ask the question, okay, which person invented this on which year? So as like that, you can ask, give external information and get outputs out of those also. Then we can summarize the data. This is also going to come in handy. Let's say we have lots of big, like a really big text scopes that we don't have time to read. We can simply, again, let's use the news article that we copied from the website. I can simply say, summarize this. Is this news to be less than 50 words? You can specify any number of words you need, and it will take the whole text and it will output 50 words or less than 50 words, saying the main idea of the external information that you have given me. That's another thing we can do with prompt engineering in large language models. Then the main thing that we can do is we can check spellings and grammatical errors. As Sri Lankans, most of us do not use English as our main mother language, right? So obviously we are going to have spelling errors and those things at the initial stages, but they are going to be, we're going to get over that after we like used to talking in English. But sometimes we can't express what we have in our mind effectively. We might write something thinking, okay, I can, something like this. let's see first. Let me give you guys an example. So here I put a really wrong, it have grammatical, this prompt have grammatical errors, as well as it doesn't have good spelling in everything. So I can simply say, check spellings and grammar mistakes in this text. Here you can get a list of changes GPT made, as well as how the corrected one looks like. But spellings and stuff we can manage over time, right? But sometimes when I have an idea, I should be able to effectively communicate it to the someone, especially when we are talking about clients in abroad. In English, we might think, okay, this idea is really good, really well written, but it might be not really effective for someone who is not us. They might not get the exact idea that we are going to take. Now let's say example of that. Here I have given an example. I think the thing we need is to make sure we are on the same page about the project. Now here also, I think the thing we need to do, these kind of words, the sentences doesn't actually make sense, right? It looks really bad also, and it doesn't show sense. And as you can see, Grammarly also detect there are some issues in conveying the idea. So we can simply say, can you reform this to convey my idea effectively? And it will reform the text, giving the idea that you had initial moment and showing it in an effective, really good way. So if you guys can look into this prompt and the output that we got, you guys can see this is really clear than the output, the input that we gave. So that's another way that we can use large language models in an effective prompt. Then we can use it for simple things, right? Writing effective emails. I think I don't have to show examples of this to you guys. We can simply say, okay, I am a student from University of Sri Jayawardhanapura. Can you write admission to Harvard University? I need scholarship. This is my GPA. And I have completed my research on large language models. And if you give this kind of good prompt, it will generate you an email where you can change the field. Now, let's say we get this exact example and paste it. Now we have example saying, write email to ask scholarship to Dean of Administrations in Harvard University. I am a student of University of Sri Jayawardhanapura and I have GPA of 3.9 and I have completed my research on large language models. So as you can see, I gave a proper action, write an email, and for whom I should write, and background context. This is my GPA, this is the research I have done, and those kind of things like that. Then large language model will generate your body of email and also subject, what kind of email subject you need, what is the body you need to have, and it will add some creative stuff also, and you can fill your name, your contact information, and university ID and those kind of stuff. And you have to review this and add more details you need, and you can simply send it. Same like that, we can use these things to generate our resume, cover letters and stuff. Just you have to put a good prompts only. But talking about large language models or any kind of a generative AI model, AI models can get some answers really, really wrong. Like we can't say we have 100% accuracy in any generative AI model. So for example, in ChatGPT, there is one famous question. So there was a book that says this term called "don't flip the boso bit." So as I remember, boso bit is something to do with, this is a software development term, like a bit that we're gonna ignore or something like that. I'm entirely not sure. So let's say we ask a question saying, which author of a book on software development said, "Don't flip the boso bit"? So we are simply asking, okay, this is, I remember I have read this bit on a book. Who wrote this? So when we ask this question, first, ChatGPT is telling us, okay, it is written by Gerald Windberg, in American computer scientist, author, and teacher known for his work and stuff. Then we can ask it again. In this time, okay, it gave the same name, but in a different initials. But let's ask it again. Okay, for some reason it's giving me the same name, but most of the time it's changing the name for this specific question. ChatGPT might have sent the update to, let's say no update to fix that issue. Yeah, it's giving the same output. But the thing is, Gerald Windenberg isn't the author that who wrote this statement in a book. So if we go to Google and let's go back. Okay, if I ask the same question, which author wrote this thing? The correct answer is Jim McCarthy. So ChatGPT can't exactly answer this question. This is one of the only one famous questions. So all generative models have this problem called model hallucination. That means model can, so how generative models are made is they get a lot of data from the open source, like internet. For example, ChatGPT, they took freely available text data, coding data, the text-like data from the internet, and they trained model on it. Then ChatGPT learned, okay, what kind of words make sense? What kind of word should I put after one another? These kind of things. Then it trained a model. Then scientists came in and then they fine-tune these models into giving specific output. For example, summarize texting or giving other things like summarize, check spelling errors, those kind of prompts, they included it. So ChatGPT isn't 100% accurate all of the time. Why? Because internet have multiple kind of text sources. It have multiple kind of people who are putting text, have different kind of ideas, different kind of methodologies. So the outputs that are generated from ChatGPT or generative model depend on the input it took. Input might not be the correct thing always. So this is a famous question, as I said earlier, that ChatGPT give wrong answer. But every time you do ChatGPT search, please review it again in order to make sure is it the correct output. Same goes to other large language models and generative models also. If you use GitHub Copilot, it might not give you the correct code snippet in the first time. So don't ever just GitHub Copilot code and then push it to production, because it would be a disaster. Because most of the time, not most of the time, like 90% of the time, it can work really good. But 10% of time, generative AI models can hallucinate, as well as it might provide you the wrong answers. So all the time, beware of the wrong answers and review the output you get from GPT or any other generative model. So before ending the session, as I think all of you guys are students, so all of you guys might use in ChatGPT to do your academic activities, do your lab activities and stuff. But when you're using generative models for your university life or to get some output, be aware of what you are doing, because large language models or generative models can be a curse or it can be a blessing also. So let's say you are getting a code out of ChatGPT or GitHub Copilot. Don't just take that code and paste it somewhere and submit it. Try to review the code. Try to know, okay, what is this line meant to do? Okay, what kind of thing this syntax do? And if you are using it for generate some kind of a article or something, look how it wrote the article. Look what kind of adjectives it used, what kind of things it used to make it beautiful, to convey the idea in the best way. So when you are using a generative AI model for your university stuff specifically, make sure you gain a good output from it, as well as you gain knowledge from it too. Great. So that's all I had to talk to you guys today. So thank you for listening in. Thank you for being a great audience. I think we can move into the question and answers session now.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Pamodar. There is no great way to learn without asking any questions. So, ladies and gentlemen, this is the chance to ask your questions, and we have gathered some questions from the registration forms, and we are going to present some of them to our lecturers. So, Mr. Pamodar, first question is, how can we use AI tools in more effective way without doing harm to ourselves? For example, writing a report easy with use of AI. However, in the other hand, it affects our thinking ability and other skills. How to learn for survive in the industry without replacing from AI in future?
Yeah, actually, that is a really great question. I think I talked about in the last slide also. Since you guys are university students yet, what you need is knowledge. Not I know I was a university student once, so I know if I can finish my assignment within a few hours without even learning anything, that would be really good. But when you are going to come into the industry, you can't always use ChatGPT, or you can't always use the generative AI to be your help. So for example, let's say you have done artificial intelligence related software engineering product. Let's say you have created some kind of project. Just asking GitHub Copilot to generate the code for you, or asking ChatGPT to generate the code for you. When you come into the interview with the career you might want to go, and if you have that exact project on your CV, the interviewers might ask questions about it again and again and again, because interviewers know that there is tools like this that can do this task within like few minutes. So they need to know whether you did it or ChatGPT or another tool did it. So they might ask simple questions in a different ways. And if you don't have the exact idea of your code base, you won't be able to answer. So it's okay to ask from generative AI to, okay, give me this code, but look into the code and try to understand code. Okay, what kind of logic that AI used here? What are the syntax? What happens here? Why they use this for loop instead of while loop? Learn to know those things. But again, generative AI can replace repetitive tasks, but it can't replace your logical thinking. It can just say things that it learned from the internet, but it can't never think. Most of the time, it can't think very logical. So during your university years, if you didn't write code by yourself, if you didn't design architectures by yourself, then you might not get in the logical thinking that industry requires. So think about that also. Use generative AI, but when you're using, think about the knowledge you can gain also. So I think you guys ask about a report. Like when we write a report, how we can make sure that we are not doing a bad thing. First, what the advice I give is write the report by yourself. It can be a bad report, just put into sections, write the report, get the observations you need to get, fill out the observations and those stuff. Then ask ChatGPT or any other research tool to improve that report. In that scenario, you have did some work. You have make logical thinking, you have got creative thinking, you have creatively aligned the content, then ask to write the report. So you have done really good amount of work. You are just polishing your work with help of GPT or any other kind of a tool. In that case, you can look into your the process report also. Okay, I did this kind of thing, and this generative model made it like this. It made my idea convince so better than the way I wrote it. So you can learn, okay, next time I'm writing something like this, I can use this kind of a method instead of the one I used earlier. So I think that's the best way to do it. Try to do it yourself and use generative models to polish your answer. I think I gave the answer for that question.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Pamodar. The next question is, what are the things that we have to do to secure our job spots in this AI impact?
Okay, great. I think we have a question here in the chat also asking about Devin and stuff. So I think Devin got released. I think it didn't get released. They showed the demo, I think 2 weeks back or 1 week back. I'm not exactly sure of the day. So it actually made a really big ripple in like IT industry, especially in university students such as you guys, like when you guys are studying software engineering and related fields. So first of all, guys, what you need to remember is Devin is a demo. It's not a product that you can just go in and use it yet. I think it isn't released yet. So mostly the demos are done to attract the investors. So you can have a really big investor. So if you guys remember Gemini, Google Gemini, in their initial demo, they showed amazing results. They showed amazing multi-model network with everything. But when we get to use Gemini in the production environment, it's good. It's really good, but it's not good as what demo showed. I think Google got really big blackshires about that. So again, remember mostly about Devin. It's just a demo stick, and it demos, you can change demos as you like. You can make the results more accurate. You can make it more human-like, everything. But when the real product comes out, it might be different than the demo. So let's say it was really good as demo also. Now, like I don't think any company will say, okay, we are going to use Devin. We are not going to use any software engineers, any data scientists, any machine learning engineers. All of you guys, QA engineers, all of you guys, we don't need you. We are just going to use Devin. That is not going to happen because Devin is mainly a coding tool, right? It's help you to code. I know in the demo they showed any other perspectives also, but software engineering or IT field is not just coding. It's not just coding something and getting out. Building a software start when you start talking to a client. So I don't think there is an AI that can talk to the client as the way we humans do, because we should look at client's face. Most of the time, clients doesn't know what they want. Software engineers know what they want. So that's why in the client meeting, software engineers are there. Just listen to what client says and grab the idea and tell client, okay, you need this, this, this. So we can develop this. Actually, this can be done like this. We can improve it done like this, like that. And not just client meeting. We have to design a perfect architecture for this solution client need. And then comes implementing. Implementing also, we have to write code for testing and stuff. We have to figure out, okay, what kind of a testing methodologies we need, those kind of stuff. And then we have to deploy. Deploying also another thing, you have to design the architecture, what cloud provider, or you're going to use on-site cloud, those kind of things. So it is not just coding. It is not just saying, okay, code me this perfect software with this test cases and everything. It's not just that. There are a lot of things going behind the scene of a software development. For example, I think most of you guys might know about Tesla, right? Tesla is a company from Elon Musk, and they have these automatically cars that can drive automatically. But still, they have this full automatic driving also. But still, they are recommending a driver, not they are recommending, they are actually making it compulsory to driver to sit in the driving seat. Some of the Tesla cars comes with this feature, you have to at least touch the steering wheel. Or if you're not touching steering wheel for 5 seconds, the car will automatically stop itself in the side of the road. So whatever AI is going to do, it's mostly the repetitive task. But the humans, the creative thinking humans have, the logical thinking human have, it might be able, AI might be able to replace it, but not fully. So if you are a guy that I talked like that, so earlier, like for example, if you are just coding using ChatGPT, if your lecturer asks you to code some project and you just go to ChatGPT and paste that thing and get the code and just push it to the GitHub or just give it to the lecturer, then my friend, you are in trouble. Why? Because your logical thinking isn't building, or you don't know what to do when you get a real life problem. But other than that, if you are building your logical thinking, if you are get to think how to design perfect solutions, how to implement these things in different ways, then I think your job is secure for now. Not for now, your job is secure. AI won't be able to 100% replace humans, at least for next decade, as I see it. And I think I'm talking this with because I have listened to a lot of podcasts with amazing people doing. So if you are building the skills you need, don't worry. If you're in the IT industry or software engineering industry, don't worry. Just complete your studies. Try to be think logically. Try to be creative. Try to do what AI can't. I think your job is totally secure. Yeah, I think I gave the answer for that.
Yes, thank you, sir. So the next question is, how long it will take to complete the whole coursework related to AI?
Okay, so when we say whole coursework, I think there can be two different courses that we are talking here. For example, someone might asking, okay, how long does it take to complete a course that I can learn to how to successfully from tool like ChatGPT or get output from a good image generative. That will depend on how much time you take about with the tool and how much time it will take. So I can't give a necessary answer for something like that. But if you're asking how much time it will take to learn AI as a concept, as a theory, like implement AI models, create AI solutions, it also depends on your how much work you put into it. But first you have to learn about the concepts behind machine learning and deep learning, and then you have to learn about TensorFlow, those kind of deep learning architects, deep learning frameworks. So I think within 3 months you can gain a good knowledge about conceptual knowledge under artificial intelligence with your university work. Not without your university work, I think you can do it within like weeks just to get the idea of the concepts, some main concepts you have. But with university works going on, everything going on, I think if you guys put around good amount of time into it, 3 months, 6 months, I think you will be able to learn about the get the basic understanding of how deep learning works, machine learning works, and basic knowledge about frameworks like TensorFlow, PyTorch, things like that. Yeah, it's really hard to say exact time because again, it depends on your workload and how much you work.
Yes, thank you, sir, for that insightful answer. So it's the end of the Q&A session. Little by little, we have approached to the end of this eye-opening session. Now it's time to present the certificates to our speakers as a token of gratitude. Mr. Pamoda Pereira and Mr. Sachita Vikrama, thank you for disseminating your hard-earned knowledge among these youngsters. Thank you, sir, again. And of course, this event wouldn't be success without our participants. So dear guys, thank you for joining us today. With that being said, we have reached the end of the Insight Wave 1.0. Hope to see you back for another great event. Have a great day. Thank you.